Hello and welcome to another episode of the Not For Nothing podcast. I am your co-host, Sarah ElSayed, and I am joined with my bestie in the Westie.
Hello, hello.
What's up, Natasha?
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there.
What do you have cooking for us today?
All right, so we're going to go into it real hot.
Okay.
I want to hear about, since the fact that I grew up not eating pork, because I come from a household that my mom was born Catholic, went to Catholic school her whole life, but she met my father who was Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
So she converted and then they raised us Muslim. So I never ate pork growing up, and then I famously became a vegetarian when I was in 7th grade. So in 7th grade, I had the realization that I had actually tried all types of meat at that point of my life, pork included. When was the first time you tried pork?
I don't remember the first time, but I remember having bacon and thinking to myself, this is so weird. I don't think I've ever had something so kind of fatty, umami, salty before. And then I realized it was pork and I wasn't allowed to have that. And then...
Did you eat bacon though? Like beef bacon, turkey bacon?
Never beef bacon, but my grandma believed that pork bacon was not pork, so it was okay.
So your grandma bent the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, intentionally.
But just for bacon and French saucisson vibes.
What is that?
Salami.
Okay, so that French salami is pork.
Yeah. Sometimes duck or beef, but mostly pork.
Oh, wow.
But now more duck because also there's a huge French Muslim community.
Wow. So French
there's a lot of halal
deli
food.
meat is made of duck?
No, in this new age, there's more lamb, duck, alternatives to pork in the curing of meats section.
So you don't remember the exact first time you had it?
No.
2 times stick out for me because I thought I was going to hell.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I cried and cried both times I ate pork.
Really?
It was an accident, and I really had the fear of God within me. The first time I was just telling my sister this story. I was in a dark place physically.
Mm-hmm. Not emotionally.
Not emotionally.
Physically in a dark place.
I was in 5th grade.
Okay.
In a dark place, and there was a plate of food in front of me.
Okay.
5th grade. Can you imagine where I was?
School?
No. It was more of a performance vibe.
Oh, like a theater?
Of some sort.
What was it?
It was at medieval times, baby.
Oh.
At medieval times.
The one that's in Jersey?
Yes.
Wow.
Our 5th grade graduation trip from elementary school. We go as a collective.
Mm-mm.
I want to say maybe 50% of my class was Muslim.
That's... at least I was only one of a few Jews in my school, so they were fuck it, we're serving pork at the cafeteria.
Right. And they served pork in the cafeteria, but we usually knew what we were getting. We could at least see the food in front of us.
Yeah.
At medieval times, there's a show happening.
Yeah.
That you're engaging with, and it's super dark in there because it's a theater vibe. So there's a plate of food there that you're assuming is safe for you to eat, considering it was your parents paid for this in advance for you to go. It was a class trip. Your teacher knew about your religious and dietary restrictions in advance. However, that was my first time having a rib, and let me tell you, it was delectable.
Oh, I remember having my first rib, and it changes your life.
A rib is
Ribs are incredible.
I get it. I get the hype about pork ever since having that rib.
I get the hype about pork too, so much so that when I moved to LA and lived on my own now, I've been eating so much pork that my cholesterol is so high now. And now
the family curse.
Yeah, I forgot that I have high cholesterol, and because I don't eat that much pork normally in New York with my family, and I definitely don't ever cook pork in their house. And then I moved out here and I was like, oh, let me add bacon here, bacon there. And big mistake, let me tell you.
That is definitely something.
My doctor is not thrilled.
So aside from that fateful day at medieval times where I realized the devil was real because, ribs are so good. No wonder it's forbidden. All the good things are forbidden. I never ate ribs again. But prior to that, a few years prior, I had a different slip up. And both of these, I must say, I made a confession to my mother about eating pork.
That's incredible.
I was trying to repent. They were accidents both times. But the other time, you ever have those kids, like the original mean girls in your class that were your friends but were your secret frenemies?
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe you didn't have these. I had like a couple of them. It was this girl, Noelle.
Okay.
Lunchables were big. This was the 90s, baby. Lunchables were big back then. So I used to get the turkey and cheese ones every now and then, but I didn't really have a Lunchable mom. Like I had a mom that was like, I'm not buying you that shit. I'm making you a sandwich if you want turkey. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I expect by now you would understand that obviously my mom was also not a Lunchable
100%.
mom. We were both left out.
We were left out for sure. Let me guess, you couldn't have Flintstone vitamins either.
I actually did.
You did? Oh, nice. It must be nice. I was given like Kirkland.
My pediatrician said those were good for us. So yeah. But it was like the only fun thing.
Lucky. At least your vitamins were fun.
Yeah. They were hype.
But yeah, this girl, Noelle, she knew I couldn't eat pork. But she was just like a mean girl. So she had a ham and cheese Lunchable and offered me one, knowing I couldn't eat ham, and told me it was turkey. So I ate it, and then I looked at the packaging and it said ham. I cried. Both times I was conned.
I must say, and they're not even like, okay, ribs are good, but like having
ham, like ew.
You know what I mean? Like I remember at my high school, at like elementary school, I had a pepperoni pizza. And I came home and I was like, Mom, I just had the most incredible pizza today.
No way.
It was so good. Like, you're not going to believe this.
And she was like, I don't believe that you did have that.
Well, my mom is much less religious than my dad.
Okay.
So she like always kind of eats pork.
Really?
Yeah, like she won't seek it out, but she'll eat it.
Yeah, it's not like something she really considers forbidden.
Yeah. And my dad like jokes about it now, but it was pretty funny.
That's crazy. Okay. So I flew in today.
Yes.
And we're recording today. Ambitious.
Yes. Ambitious.
Very ambitious, but we're doing it. And I had a funny, cute thing happen. So I was sitting next to some girl, and she was actually cool. She was like one of the coolest, like, next door seat neighbors I've had in a long time. Like,
do you initiate conversation?
No. And that's how I like it as well. She didn't initiate conversation either, which is why I like her.
Okay, so walk me through how you get on the plane.
I wait my turn, first of all.
No, obviously. But
so
I mean,
if I'm
like,
in main cabin 1, I wait till they call me in cabin 1. Hate anyone who doesn't listen. I hate it.
As opposed to doing what?
If you're in main cabin 1 and you're running to sky priority when it's time for them to board, rude, disrespectful, annoying, holding everyone up.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Also, airplanes should board from back to front. It's just common sense. I don't care how much you paid. Doesn't matter what fucking time you get on the plane.
But like when you sit down, are you immediately like AirPods in?
I go in with my headphones on.
Yeah, I've started to do that too now.
I take it out to see where my seat is, to be like 42F. And then they're like right over there. And I'm like, thank you. Put it back in, and they don't come out.
So it's interesting. I now go the route of like fully isolating. I don't talk to anybody when I'm on the plane.
Were you a chatterbox back in the day?
Like for a while I was in a long distance relationship and I was flying from New York to Indiana, and it's really not that long of a flight. And there's like never anybody on the flight except people who work for like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, like big kind of CPG companies who have like headquarters there. And like
trade shows that are random.
And so I would just like, you know, drink a little, have some fun conversations, be like, oh, where are you going? Home or work? Like, you know.
Nightmare.
And now I'm just like.
You're a demon for that.
Yeah. Now I don't talk to anybody.
Thank you.
But I did have I've had fun encounter. Like I never regret talking to somebody.
You know, I don't either.
But I like keeping it short and sweet.
I like it short and sweet as well. Also, like I recently, like maybe last year, I met someone at the airport who dropped the "you look familiar" on me.
Yeah.
And I know I didn't look familiar to him, or maybe I did, but we didn't know each other. But now we're Instagram friends and we have been for a while. So
that's cute.
it's like, okay, like we're colleagues, like long distance colleagues. He's like a content creator. So yeah.
But you know what I do hate?
What?
When somebody is getting ready to get off the plane and they're like realizing, it's as if they're realizing as they stand up, like, oh, I have a carry-on. And it's actually like 8 rows behind everybody. You had literally 6 hours between JFK and LAX to strategize how you're going to do this. Why is it when it's like game time that you're... What, are you also the type of person? This is definitely the type of person who like does their homework an hour before.
Yeah. And although I am the person who does my homework an hour before, I'm not the type of animal that would do that with the carry-on.
I'm like, it's like the making it our problem.
Exactly. Also, this is another advocacy for loading the car back to front. Because we just wouldn't have these problems, you know? Yeah. Okay, then all the people's luggage in the back will be in the back. And as you move forward, your luggage will be in the forward area. Like, not just like randomly playing Tetris with bags and people. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid and elitist, and we need to abolish that.
I couldn't agree more.
Thank you. I'm so glad for it.
But
all right, listen. So I'm next to this sweet woman.
Yeah.
And I'm like asleep most of this flight. So towards the end of the flight, when I'm like up, she's also up. And 2 flight attendants come next to us and asking us like this last round if we want to drink. And I'm not sure if she was awake for the other ones, but I wasn't. Yeah. So I'm like, I see them and hear them first. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just take an orange juice. And
first of all, gross.
Okay, orange juice is my go-to order on an airplane. What's your order?
Like, do you really want orange juice burp in an airplane?
Maybe I don't get orange juice burps.
Lies.
I don't.
I just drink water on airplanes.
No.
But this is a recent thing. Ever since I got food poisoning on an airplane.
From what?
When I had that pepperoni pizza, which was another pork incident. Which was also the funniest part.
Hasn't God taught you this lesson before?
So I was on a red eye from LA to New York. And it was really late, and you get to LAX and everything's like pretty much closed, like 11 or whatever. But there's this one pizza shop at the Delta terminal, and they had like on sale, like discounted unsold pizzas. And I took one, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm going like to see my family, like last opportunity to eat pork. And I had this pizza, and
I've got news for you.
At 2 a.m. on this flight, let me tell you, I got real intimate in the stall.
Our producer knows exactly what I'm about to say right now. It wasn't the pepperoni that got you sick. It was the pizza that was sitting out all day. It was the discounted pizza that never sold and was never properly stored. So did you learn your lesson? Did you learn your lesson yet?
Let me tell you. And then I got home and my dad was like, well, that's what you get for eating pork.
Oh, you admitted.
Yeah, I mean, I was like crying on my way home to their house. I was like, guys, like prep the bathroom. Like I'm arriving, but I don't know how much can stay in. Like, because it was like peak food poisoning.
Yeah, no, I know.
It wasn't like the day after. It was like the onset was in the airplane.
It was like you were sweating and dry heaving like in the car on the way home.
Like praying that I make it home.
Praying no liquids are going to fall out of you.
It was horrendous. So yeah, pork, not our friend.
So what do you drink on a flight?
Water.
All right. I always go orange juice because I don't really like... Snack options are never good.
No, so water.
No, but I don't even want to eat the snacks they give. So I'm like, but usually like when I'm traveling, like I probably am hungry after 6 to 8 hours of traveling. So an orange juice kind of like takes the blood sugar edge off and it gives me like a little bit of pep.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I had something and then I'm good. Like that's usually my go-to is like 1 cup of orange juice on the thing.
Before landing, I like having a coffee with the speculoos and then you dip the speculoos in the coffee.
I'm not a dipper. coffee dipper.
You have to, because
I
the
don't like.
cookie's like a little stale.
Do not like.
It's delicious. That's my go-to, and then it kind of leaves you like feeling refreshed, like you just had like a fancy coffee.
Have you ever dunked a donut in a coffee?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
It's delicious.
I don't. Mark is saying Southwest snack mix is fire, but we're Delta elitists,
like,
so we don't fly Southwest.
We are
I
not,
wouldn't know.
We're not from the Southwest.
So true.
Like Delta.
Where does it serve?
The West Coast.
Texas?
Yeah.
I don't know if
Texas.
I don't know if I've ever flown
I
Southwest.
flew Southwest once from Oakland to LA, and it's a free for all. There's no assigned seats. Do you know what that does to my social anxiety?
People must be just absolutely archaic in there.
I was like, there's no. It's like panicking. Like, I don't like the system at all.
I already want to get to the airport like 2.5 to 3 hours before my flight.
Obviously, minimum 4.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I knew that doom was coming, I would be at the airport 12 hours in advance.
Which I obviously wasn't. Because it's Oakland, so you can imagine the shit that's going down before then.
Oh my God. No, I don't want.
Yeah.
But listen, today, this is, I think, the first time this has ever happened to me. Both flight attendants, they asked my neighbor what she wants. She takes her headphones out. She didn't even hear me order. And she goes, I'll take an orange juice. And then both flight attendants look at both of us and they go, are you guys sisters? And we're like, no, we don't even know each other.
We're just both anemic.
We're just assigned seats next to each other and have black hair. And I was like, wow, this is the first time anyone has ever looked at someone and actually looked at their facial features. Because I will admit, we kind of did look a little bit similar.
That's kind of funny.
They actually looked at our facial features and not just our physical bodies. Because I can't tell you, if you're a chubby girl next to another chubby girl, they'll be like, are you guys sisters? And we could look completely different. And it's like, no, we're just the same weight.
Mark said you both have scurvy.
Take it. What? You know what? I need some support. Please write a comment if you order orange juice on the plane. I think that's a totally normal and reasonable thing to order.
The acid reflux makes me very uncomfortable.
Not all of us have weak medieval stomachs.
Yeah.
I'm not in medieval times.
I will say it's like a dream of mine to like meet my soulmate on like the seat next to me, and we're both like, you know, like coming back from like very important meetings, and it's like, yeah, I just closed this deal. Yeah, me too. Like,
oh, so you want an airplane meet cute.
But then I'm also like, how does that happen? Because I literally like give off the most not chill energy.
What happened to you during the time where you were able to initiate conversations with Coca-Cola executives?
Alcohol.
To now. Oh, I guess so.
Alcohol.
Wow, the liquid
sobriety
courage really did
it makes you like a different type of social, you know?
It brought out the most awkward parts of you.
Yeah,
Love.
yeah, agreed. But also those were not social interactions like with any other. That was just like filling the void, you know? Here,
no.
Like you're just talking to random people on an airplane to like pass the time.
Yeah, I guess so. But you sometimes get things out of it, even if it's just a word of wisdom.
Yeah, but I'm saying I want to meet the love of my life.
How do you know he's not a Coca-Cola executive? Like he very well could be.
Like the creator of Diet Coke. Yeah, I'm down.
Come on now. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. But yeah, I think that the worst type of people on an airplane are the ones who don't help people who are like clearly struggling with their suitcase to put it on top. I think
if you're not paying me, I don't need to do anything. Yeah, that's how I feel.
It literally just moves everything along.
Yeah.
Especially not on the come up, but on the like when you're exiting the airplane and you see like this elderly person who's clearly kind of like rusty from sitting and shit. And
old
they're
people,
like,
they get a pass.
And they're like grabbing it and people are just like waiting. I'm just like, girl, I'm gonna just yank this. I'll meet you at the front. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
You know, and I do that. My sister and I.
New York energy.
Yeah,
though.
My sister and I will literally do this on airplanes. We'll be like, all right, who needs help? Let's get it moving. Like,
wow,
we
love
have
that.
no patience.
You turn it into field day. You're like a chaperone. You're like,
I mean, she's a teacher, so like
this
is
true.
Like innate for her. But it's also just like it's such an California way of being on an airplane where they're just like waiting and like complaining, and I'm like, you could just move this along, but they don't do it.
People here are inept.
No, obviously I never help like the influencer girl whose bag is like way too packed. But no, there's like so many old
Although
people.
someone should help them, but they usually have pretty privilege, so someone will help them.
Yeah,
it's like it doesn't need to be me.
A hot person will help them. Like I'm not like, let's be real. I'm not that strong. Like
It's like
sometimes it's kind of dangerous that I'm the one helping you.
let the Fyre Fest handle the Fyre Fest, you know?
Like once I was like carrying someone's suitcase and I'm like, what if I were to like get injured? Can you sue?
I don't know. I don't have health insurance, so I wouldn't risk it. Okay, what about like the non-headphone wearers? I know this is a pet peeve of yours.
This is like a huge pet peeve of mine just in general. Watching like TikToks, Reels, Instagram stories at an audible level with other people around is so disrespectful.
I do that, but like what if I'm doom scrolling in bed and you're sleeping in the same room as me?
Why would I be?
Is that annoying?
Why would we be sleeping in the same room?
You act like we're not often sleeping in the same room.
Yeah, like if it's like
literally like I'm having a sleepover or if we're in like.
No, like if I'm in the car driving us and you're scrolling.
Go pay for parking.
Mark.
We need to pay the parking meter.
Is someone able to go pay for parking? Thank you.
I was like, why did an alarm just go off now?
It's not.
Exactly.
It's at 11 a.m. But yeah, back to that. I think there's obviously like sometimes you're like baked, whatever. If everybody's watching content, it's fine. If I'm sitting here and I need to like also listen to like this like muffled bullshit of somebody's like,
damn,
it drives me nuts. It's
I'm
almost
personally victimized. I think it's me.
No, it's
I'm the problem.
No,
it's me.
Literally everybody. It's like a new social thing that's happening and it needs to stop. And literally I was on a flight once from Miami to LA and the couple behind me was just watching a movie on their phone, no headphones.
That is terrorism.
And then as we landed,
if you see something,
they started
say something.
Okay, but that whole flight was traumatic. She also then had a seizure and then was like, I left my meds in my checked bag. And like, I was like, I can't. This is why I don't fly American Airlines.
I hate American Airlines.
I hate American Airlines. But like,
I think that's
it was
my
the
top
only
hated.
flight that day and I had to do it. But you know what? That's what happened. And so then as we land, after this girl has had a seizure and watched the movie at audio, she starts watching TikToks and then starts FaceTiming her family. I was like, if
you ask me, that all sounds like risk for another seizure. And she should just close her eyes and try to sleep.
But it's almost as bad of a pet peeve as loud chewing or like gum chewing for me.
No way.
It like irritates the inside of my ear to have to hear like background sound of like that.
Yeah, of like not good quality sound.
And you can't like fully discern what the sound is. It's just like noise.
Staticky. Yeah, gross. I'm starting to get it.
You know?
Yeah, I get it.
Obviously, like time and place.
I agree.
But especially on the subway now, the number of people who are just scrolling TikTok. I didn't live in New York while TikTok was on the boom.
Yeah, but you know what? The subway is so unbearable that that is one of the absolute last of my worries.
Yeah, but that's the kind of shit that drives me nuts.
No, it's bad. It's pretty bad. But that's not number one pet peeve for me. All right, I think, while we're on the topic of like being in New York and, living the life that we lived when we were growing up.
Yeah. Ugh.
Do you remember the days where you had to like hide your weed smoking from your parents?
Yeah, that's like to this day.
Would you say that they can't like, if you go smoke on the street when you come home, do you put on like perfume?
Like I just don't.
When you're not home?
I don't even like being high around them because I feel like it's such a stigma still that I'm like uncomfortable.
But like you and I have gone out in New York and smoked and you've returned home at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, no, I won't put perfume on. But I used to.
Yeah, when you were growing up.
Yeah, I used to also smoke a lot of cigarettes.
As well.
So I smelled like a myriad of things.
All right, well, how did you hide it?
A lot of perfume. And then my whole thing, do you know L'Occitane, you know, Occitan,
Wait, yeah, I do.
that company,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
French,
yeah.
like whatever. They
Yeah.
have those scented hand creams.
Oh.
That was like my big thing.
I used to use hand sanitizer.
Because you have to use that as the base, like the primer. And
exactly,
then you put a
because
scented
it would like
hand lotion.
erase the smell, I felt.
Because weed doesn't linger that much, but on your hands, cigarettes lingers for a minute.
Exactly.
You could always tell.
My hands were always what got me caught.
My friend's dad knew that. My parents didn't really. They were obviously very upset and whatever, but there was
Your parents aren't smokers either
they
of them.
kind of were before.
Oh, yeah.
And they were kind of the school of like, you're going to do this bullshit.
Because you're growing up.
Stop it.
Yeah.
If you don't stop it, it's your problem.
Yeah. Well, I used to do the hand sanitizer trick. And I again, because my eyes don't get red, I never used eye drops.
Oh, I had eye drops as well.
Never. But my mom is a super smeller, which was my fatal downfall.
Yeah, your mom would have known that I smoked cigarettes immediately.
Well, so there was one day I distinctly remember where I was coming out of high school and I was walking up the avenues.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom did basically a drive-by.
That's terrifying.
She ambushed me.
That's terrifying.
I saw her car and I had a cigarette in my hand as she was approaching. So as I'm walking, made it so I dropped my cigarette where my leg would be in front of the cigarette as it fell. So as if I was like never holding it.
Always.
And my friend gets in the car with me and I was like, let's give her a ride home. My mom does her classic thing. As soon as my friend gets out of the car, it smells like cigarettes in here, you know? And I'm telling you, my mom, every time I saw her, if I would give her a hug, smells like alcohol in your breath. Like she would always.
That's crazy.
Her nose knew.
Alcohol was never really taboo in our house. They were just like, don't be drunk and like, because it's dangerous on your brain and like bad things, especially like as a woman, all this bullshit. But they definitely, I feel like my dad never really like confronted me about weed, really. But there was this one time, I think I was like a freshman in high school, and I was like kind of like going on these dates with this kid from another school, and we would like smoke weed, whatever. And I came home one night and my dad said something and I was just like cracking up, and he just said, "Oh, I think it might be time for you to, you know, go to sleep." And then I was like, "Oh, yeah. And then I don't know if I was being paranoid or was I like, is this his way of saying like, I know you're high, but like whatever.
Right.
And then
like,
we
go
never
to bed so we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, but we never talked about it and we've never spoken about it. I've never like smoked weed in front of them. I don't really
When are you going to break that seal?
Never. Because I would never like smoke with them.
Why not?
Because they don't consume.
Do you think they would?
No.
And they get older, like
no,
retired, and
they don't really drink. Like I feel like they just don't.
Well, not so much for like I'm starting to notice like a lot of older people in my life are getting interested in cannabis, like actually medically. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I really am having pain. I really need to try anything. So I feel like I'm starting to see like acceptance from like the older folks in my life.
Yeah, their friends. Their friends all talk about it with me. I just think they may not. But maybe, who knows?
Who knows?
Never say never.
It'll be interesting to see that, like, to see our parents' age, you know?
But it's definitely funny to think back.
I think my mom becomes more open-minded every day.
Yeah.
As getting older, you know?
They become extremely open-minded. I just don't think they, like, are consumers.
Totally. I get that. All right. I need to tell you a really nuts story.
All right. I'm ready.
So I went on a date the other day.
Okay.
And it was cute. I went to the zoo. The Bronx Zoo.
Love it.
But I don't have children.
Okay.
Obviously. So.
It's not obvious.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious by the nature of our content. I'm pretty sure, like, I think people who know us know we're not yet parents or in that space. But I went with another childless individual.
Yeah.
And we're in a sea of children. Like there's kids everywhere. There's like other couples, but the couples have kids and or they're watching and bringing a whole lot of kids. But it was cute. Like it was like I saw so much. I feel like I went to every single stop in the zoo and I saw all the animals I wanted to see.
Did you see koalas?
No. Do they have them there?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I saw like blue penguins. I saw a tiger.
I haven't been to the Bronx Zoo in like
I haven't been in like so many
maybe
years. That's
like
why
15 years.
That's why it was a great date.
Yeah,
I feel
that's really fun.
It's like,
I did it once with my parents.
yeah, same.
And my mom worked in the Bronx, so she was always like, I don't want to like I'll take the subway again on the weekends.
So you met her there?
No, she just like didn't ever really want to go. So I went with my school once, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a big thing. That was like a go-to school trip, I feel.
I mean, it's great. It's like a beautiful.
It's like, I forgot how big it was.
It's humongous.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a great date. Like I had a fantastic day.
That's fun.
I was dabbing the whole time. It was amazing. Like I just pull over, take out my little dab device, take a little dab and go about my day.
Yeah.
You know, not smoking like big doinks in front of the freaking
No, of course
giraffes
not.
and stuff. But a quick dab didn't hurt anyone. But that's, you know, at that point I was thinking we're definitely the most degenerate people here taking dabs in the zoo.
You never are in New York.
You never are.
Oops.
I think that's a great lesson. If you think you're the most degenerate person in the room,
You're
it's only
thinking
temporary.
too small.
Exactly. You got to think bigger.
Think bigger.
You got to think bigger. And that's exactly what another couple at this zoo was doing. And let me tell you, they out-degenerated us. I'm going to say what they were doing. If there's a child listening, maybe don't let them hear this. I don't want more kids to be impacted by this. I'm in the gorilla enclosure. And it's actually quite cool. It's almost like, you know how Atlantis, I always remember seeing these, like, I've never been to Atlantis, but like.
Yeah, I was going to say me neither.
Yeah, but I remember seeing the commercials when I was a
Yeah.
kid where it was like almost like around them, like a dome. So they had that, and like the gorillas were sitting in like really funny spots. Like they were like lounging out on like the curve and stuff. You know? They were so cute. And I turned around and I see this couple that's also childless. And they are walking through the gorilla enclosure. But she is wearing a collar attached to a leash that he is carrying.
What kind of collar? Is it more of like a REI sports dog collar
No,
more like leather daddy
bondage.
bondage collar?
A bondage collar.
Okay.
Attached
Because it would have
to a
been funny if it
leash.
was like a sports collar, you know?
That would be so funny. Oh my God. Like a Teva Velcro.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
No. Nope. There was no sporting around. It was just
bondage.
It was kink. And
At
I
the
was
zoo.
bringing heavy kink shame.
At the zoo.
Yeah.
I
There was too many kids.
think sometimes you may be out of pocket in your shaming, but
This is not out of pocket.
In this case, I agree with you. I think it's
She wasn't on all fours, I'll give her that.
yeah, but there are like people, there are children there. Like that is
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be questions. It's going to make like
after hours zoo session.
Exactly.
And it's not like kink is like that's like purely asexual like type of activity.
100%.
And I don't think kids need to really see that.
I don't think so either. I thought that was totally out of pocket. So
yeah,
that's the craziest
I
thing I've seen in New
support
York.
that shame that you.
Yeah, I'm
brought.
like kidding about the kink shame. Like, please do whatever floats
No,
your boat.
100%. But I think that as cannabis professionals, it has made us extremely aware of what we do and how we target it because a lot of
Oh yeah,
like I want to make really cute cartoon type stuff, but like I also don't want to be targeting to kids because that is extremely real.
it is real.
Like it's
And
not funny. All these stories of these kids eating edibles.
No, I don't
And
find that funny
it's
at
really
all.
not funny.
It's concerning.
And my mom is getting like very worried because it's more and more. And I keep telling her like, that's not what I support. Like
Yeah,
this is
because
not.
of Delta 8 and all
Yeah.
that. It's like disturbing.
And I think people are being reckless.
I agree.
And I think marketing is being reckless because people are cutting corners. And I just think in general, people are not. We've all been locked down, and I hate to use this as an excuse forever, but like people just forgot what it's like to be respectful of a community.
I agree.
And there's a time and place for things. The same way that you're
Completely.
dabbing and not smoking like big ass blunts.
Do you think I'm wrong for
she
that?
could have worn a sports collar and then kept the kink one for later.
Do you think her wearing a sports collar would have made it okay?
Yeah.
You know what? They were
You know
walking.
what? It would have been like funny that they were making an effort to tone it down.
Yeah, it's very true.
It would have been nice that it was acknowledged that they were trying something else.
Yeah, no, they were walking as if they were entering the Met Gala. Like they wanted to be seen.
They were going to the box.
Yeah, like
But
I wouldn't be.
They were looking for the box, but it's the Bronx.
Stupid joke. All right. If you like this show, and I really judge you if you do, you can give us a follow across platforms at Not For Nothing Pod. I'm your host, Sarah.
And I'm your other host, Natasha.
It's been great to see you. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Goodbye.